Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first AR or if you've been building them for years. There is something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley, and I am joined tonight by my co-host, Garth Over.
How are we doing tonight, guys?
Oh, just great. And our very special guest, Ron Holmes.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
We're glad to have you on. So we'll get into Ron and why he's here in a little bit. But before we get into that, Garth, did you do anything fun with guns this week?
Dude, I did so many fun things with gun this week, okay? It was kind of weird. Like, I don't normally do that because, work and everything else. But, like, this whole week has been guns. I actually gave a lesson on proper firearm drawing and etiquette over Snapchat. So that was fun. I also went to the range and was working on some pistol stuff. I shot for about 45 minutes yesterday, working movement drills, side-to-side stuff, which people are going to really hate us in about a week and a half when we have our USPSA competition shoot, because that's going to happen, and they're not going to like me. And then, I did some other pistol stuff today. Took my 365 X macro out and was shooting at 40 some yards, I guess. I think somewhere in there. So just working some fundamental pistol stuff with that. Not really fundamental. I mean, it was doing the Dickens drill again and all that good stuff, but learning to draw from the fanny pack still. Definitely took a shot at the We Like Shooting guys last week on our Instagram page, and I have not listened to their stuff yet to see if they retaliated or not. Probably not, because we're small potatoes to those guys, but still. So yeah, so much fun. All right, so much fun. Yeah.
Yep. I too, well, since our last episode, I think I've done something with guns every day just because that's kind of how I roll. But because we had you and I went to the range last week, wound up working with some young men who had never really shot before, so had an opportunity to introduce those young shooters into it. Then we had our event with Pastor Craig for Pistols and Prayer to again do some more training and teach some more people. And then I went out and spent a couple days working with our medical command for the state, getting them qualified and doing a whole bunch of rifle and pistol stuff with those guys. So, and I really do enjoy training those guys because they're excited when we show up, because they're like, hey, yeah, we're doctors and stuff, but we still like to do this. And it's not their day job to work with guns. So they actually take instruction.
Nice. Oh, I also forgot this. I got a buddy who lives in Iowa, right? He had his sprayer. He was out spraying a field 2 days ago, got his sprayer commandeered by the highway patrolman. So he was out spraying, right? And this HP rolls up in the field, bouncing around his pickup, gets out and goes, hey, man, bring your sprayer over to this field right now. And he goes, all right, what's up? HP grabs his AR, climbs up on it, sitting on the hood. He goes, what's going on? He goes, got an escaped fugitive out and about. He's on the run, wrecked a pickup, and he points over like a quarter mile away, and my buddy sends me a video of this pickup that's fully engulfed in flames. And he's sitting up there waiting for the guy to run out of the corn with this AR. He's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. So he just sat there for like a half hour. And then finally, like the U.S. Marshals and, local county guys, all those guys show up. And so like, get the hell out of here. He's like, well, I kind of want to hang out, but okay, whatever. So he takes off with his sprayer. And I'm like, well, what was that like? He's like, well, I was working. And then I was told by the cops I had to leave my own field, so I had to stop working. So I was like, well, whatever. I'm like, well, did they ever catch the guy? No, they called it off at like 1:30 in the morning. So waited out in the corn and got away. And I haven't heard anything else since. So what a story. That's crazy.
Did he get a sprayer back?
Oh, no, he got a sprayer back. Yeah, they let him go with the sprayer. But he was just like, well, I guess I'll just sit here while this HP sits on my hood waiting for this guy to run out of the corn so we can pop him. I don't know.
That would be an interesting day at the office, I think.
That'd be insane.
Yep. Then the other thing I did is I did take my daughter out today. We went to the range and she was running some drills with her rifle and just working on some fundamental stuff. Working on transitioning or target transitions with her AR, and she's coming along really good. And
dude, I was so proud. So Nick sent me a video today of Piper shooting, and she's got her 22 up, goes to shoot the target, misfire. Well, it's a 22, bad shell, right? She doesn't freak out, doesn't do anything crazy, just reaches up, pulls the charge handle, throws in the next shell, and keeps going like she's done it for 10 years. So proud, proud uncle moment, 100%.
Yeah. Ron, did you get anything fun done with guns this week, or?
So I also, along with Ryker USA, I started a summer camp called Life Skills USA, and that's skills with a Z, so SKILLZ, and we have our last day of summer camp tomorrow. So we have done nothing with guns and this week, but we have been creating the next generation of assets. Our foundation is God, family, country. So we start every day with a prayer to pledge allegiance, and our theme is be the difference, be a good human, remain situationally aware. So today we had I rented a small car. Today we were working on I had the young boys. I had them, taught them how to jack a car up, take the tire off, taught them the safety, everything, put the donut on, drove around, came back, jacked it up again, put the other one off, put everything away. We worked on seatbelt cutting. I work with Rescue Me seatbelt cutters. So these guys were seatbelt cutting today. We were putting on tourniquets, learning how to clean our wounds, working on splints. We did, we have a zip line ropes course. We did that the other day. And, man, we just fun packed. Tomorrow we got second phase of our land navigation out in the woods at the Clean Eats Farm, and about a half hour outside of Wilmington, North Carolina. And so we're going to be doing that. And then they're going to be starting their fires. And then we're going to pull out the mirror gas masks and the kid ones, and teach them how to put the masks on and how to exit a house. And then we're going to have some fire set up outside, and they're going to have to grab a fire extinguisher with their mask on, go over and use the fire extinguisher. So that's this week. And then Saturday at Wet Bucket Tattoo down in Sneads Ferry, there's a 5-year anniversary they're doing down there, and we're going to be Ryker USA and Mitchell Defense are going to be co-located, and we're going to be one of the vendors for this event. So that'll be our the gun stuff we're doing. And then next week I have 2 private lessons I'm teaching. So sadly, I don't shoot for me anymore. I shoot when I'm teaching, which is a lot, and when I'm doing demos. But yeah, so when my wife works from home, I'm retired stay-at-home dad. My son is 7. We homeschool him, so it's not really any set schedule. We homeschool him, so it's just he and I will go to the range, and he's my focus on that. But
I 100% know what you mean.
Yeah. So, but it's good. My goal now is, I want, by the time he's 11, I want to build him up to where he's teaching on my level on how I teach. And then I want him, he's showing interest into competing. And my wife hasn't competed since before he was born. So she's training up, and I think she says she's going to do it. And she says she does it. So she's going to be doing a Memorial 3 gun. I think it's October or November this year, again, down right outside of Bragg, which is a really big fundraiser event for Gold Star families. And they sponsor a specific family each year. So we've actually donated product to that. I think that thing's been up and running this will be the 6th year. So we work with them on that. So my wife's going to go down. She's going to run a Mitchell Rat Dog and all Ryker products and put it to work, and because she loves 3 gunning. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hate it. I can't stand 3 gun. I make this amazing sling. I cannot fathom taking a rifle and throwing it in a bucket and running up to grab it. I can't do it. I'm not good at 3 gun because I am hung up on that one thing, like weapons retention. No.
You know, that's fair. And it was easy for me to break that because I had a long history in crew serve weapons. So I was just happy to get rid of stuff. Like, yeah, bye.
Nice.
And no, I know that Garth's first 3-gun match he came to that I was at, he couldn't believe that I, just spear chucked a shotgun into the barrel and kept on running.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, it was spear chuck pretty much. That's what it was. Thankfully, it was empty because it hit so hard. I'm sure it would have went off and flown out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
we were moving at that point. But so you've mentioned Ryker USA a couple times.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone who is not familiar with Ryker USA, what is Ryker USA?
So we are the first to market side-mounted grip, and speed, accuracy, and stability are all improved with this. We actually, when I say that, we actually did testing. We ended up bringing in statisticians, engineers, MDs, and we have collected quantifiable scientific data that proves you are faster with the grip than without, and accuracy is tighter with the grip than without. So think about that in comparison to all of the other forward hand accessories that are on the market. None of them, they've all just a modification of the same thing moving forward. I invented this for pain management. And the whole premise of it was I retired from Marine Special Operations in 2010. And prior to that, I had multiple surgeries, I had bilateral shoulder and elbow surgery. So I got rubber bands that hold my shoulders in, and I got screws and fishing line in each elbow. And I have an inch of height loss, and I got, multiple compressions in my neck and my spine. So when I went to work for the government after I retired, all the shooting we were doing, I just found that my support arm was just painfully going numb on me. And I was just moving it around so I could shoot pain-free. One of the things I say all the time, I says, my superpower is that I'm left-handed. And I grew up in a pseudo special operations arena in the 90s. Now, the thing is a lot of people don't realize that there were no AR-15 podcasts, before the towers fell. There was no online tactical stores before the towers fell, right? None of that. We got our stuff from catalogs. And usually the catalogs that we got were 2 or 3 months old, and they were handed down like
golves and stuff like
an old
that.
Penthouse. But I'm telling you, the gear catalogs were worn out way more than the nudie books, right? So in the 90s, you had Point Blank was the premier body armor company out there. There was a couple, but they had it in there, right? Safariland. I will always have my battle belt will always be a Safariland holster. There's tons of other good holsters out there, but for a full on battle belt, for me, it will only be Safariland. Pistol belts and everything. Like when I grew up on a 1911 and an MP5. So all of our stuff came set up for right-handed shooters. So I always had to unstitch, move pouches around, and kind of make my own stuff. One of the things I love about earning the right to become, be a Force Recon Marine and get into that arena is that we were allowed to make our gear. We were allowed to make our gear work for us instead of having to go, no, this is how it has to be. So that's kind of like where I've always been. So I had a me problem, and I found some this moldable plastic, and it popped up on Facebook one day, and I saw this dude. He had broke the blade on his drone, and he made a new blade with this plastic. And I was like, and then he flew it, and I'm like, okay, ordered it. And I started cutting stuff. I still have all my prototypes. The original one, I took a regular broom handle and I made a T, and I put it on the side of the gun, and it was massive. Like it was just like sticking off. And then I had that big part in the middle of my finger. So it was uncomfortable, but it felt better. It took all the pressure off my shoulder. So then I started messing with this moldable plastic, and I went to the range, had some guys like, dude, that's cool. Can you make me one? So I'm cutting up old grips, melting plastic, using one of my our pans from our pots from like our wedding, ruined it. Still hear about it. And started making these people, and dudes loved it. And that was it. I wasn't thinking beyond that. And then one of my partners, Jake, we were going to see a concert, and he's like, you should invent something, man. And I'm like, man, I got a ton of ideas, bro. Like, here's what I've been running for, last probably year. And so we formed a company and, went through some prototyping, used our family, network, from, military and the contracting world, and started putting it in people's hands. And right about the time that we had started this, I was diagnosed with cancer. And at that point, my doctor didn't want me deploying anymore. So he's like, I want you to take some time off. So I was kind of done. That was almost 6 years post-retirement. So now I'm just like, I was ready to move on to this. So this was a great transition. And we've learned many, many things. We originally started, all we had was just the original Ryker grip, with our ultimate goal was to put controls for lights and lasers into the grip. And, here we are now. Our next accessory was the M-lock mount, because the traditional grip comes with your Picatinny mounting bracket, which you can see right here. So here's our Picatinny mounting bracket, and the grip is ambidextrous. Then we came up with our M-lock mount. And then the next modification was for dudes with humongous meat hooks was the long post M-lock mount.
Hey, I'm that guy.
Yeah. And I actually had a dude send me a picture of his hands, and he's just like, can you make a bigger mount for me? And I was like, well, the long mount. He goes, dude, that long mount. He goes, let me send you a picture of how big my hand is. Dude, the grip looked like a Tic Tac in this dude's hand. And I was like, man, I'm like, I got nothing, dude. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. But like this dude's hands were so big. But
I'm a 3XL glove guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, so I feel the pain on that. Hey, yeah, we just need to get a little bit more room in here.
Yeah. But so we came up with that. Now the other thing too is it's our regular mounts is a castle nut system. So we made it marine proof, and it only goes on one way, and we tell people that. So we have the Ryker logo on the top, so it doesn't matter if you're a left or right-handed shooter, as long as that's on the top, then it's going to mount correctly. And like I said, our ultimate goal was to put the electronics in the gun, and we were trying to figure it out. So when we started, the 3D printing industry was very much in its infancy in our industry. So we were thinking about how the hell are we going to do a mold? Because when you do a mold, now when you're talking about being DOD compliant and everything like this, anything that touches a weapon has to be sourced manufactured in the United States.
Yep.
So
compliance.
I could easily get a mold made for like $7,000, in India or China. Mm-hmm. But now I have to import that mold. Now I have to find a manufacturing company that's going to put a foreign mold in there, and they're not going to do it. So now you want to use American steel and all this, which is fine, which is what we wanted to do anyway. But now you're like tripling that price. So now we're trying to figure out how to make that a mold detailed enough to house the electronics. So in the meantime, we had one of our friends who's been with us from the beginning, Doug Curtis, and he sent me a picture of what he had created on how he put the pressure pad right next to the grip. And I was like, hey, can you make one of those and send it to me? And he was like, yeah. So we were always looking at it, and I was using it on one of my guns. And then I got introduced at SHOT Show to Robert with Nico Labs in College Station, Texas. These guys are insane.
Are you talking about this one here that I pulled up on screen now that has that?
That's what I'm talking about right here. So that's the DC mount. And we named it the DC mount after Doug Curtis because he invented it. So what this is now, this is the only thing in our our catalog that is not ambidextrous. This is side specific because of the mounting action. This was the hardest thing for us to design because we wanted to stay true to an ambidextrous product, but we could not get it where it passed the strength test or it wasn't overly complicated. So what we did is what this does is this fills up the dead space, and I have one right here on my Beowulf. So what it does is it fills up the dead space between the rail and the grip, and it gives you the ability to run your pressure pad or your light right there off to the side of the gun, so you can just pop your thumb over and activate your light. And it's super comfortable, so you don't have to reach over and hit your pressure pad up here. You can just minimal movement.
It's all right there,
but still get the benefit of why you want to use the Ryker grip and shoot the Ryker method. Then the first versions came out, and now the second versions, what we added is you see these little clips right here. They're ambidextrous, they're on both sides. So this is a little cable management we built in. So just to help you manage those cables, just to protect your equipment a little bit more from getting snagged or having to use tape, zip ties, and rubber bands. So meeting up with the Nico Labs guys, they're like, yeah, they're the ones that helped us make this. And then we sent that prototype that my buddy Doug Curtis sent us down, and I went down and we started working on some stuff. And then they pulled up a drawing. They're like, hey, man, we were playing around off of what you said, and they showed me a concept they came up for what we call now the Ryker Control. We spell it CTRL like on your keyboard. The Ryker Control was our ultimate goal. There was a couple things that from the beginning that we were asked by everybody. And it's one of the things that we even heard from the military was, and a lot of the law enforcement was, we can't justify buying the same thing twice. Mm-hmm. Hit us back up when you have the controls built in. Fair point. Completely get it, right? So the big things that we were asked were, can you put controls for devices into the grip, and can you add texture? And we did both. So what we have is the Ryker Control, and it is ambidextrous, and you can see we have the cable management. We have 3 clips, or three of the major. Sorry, guys, 3 of the cable management clips on the inside on both. Man, I've been teaching 7-year-olds all day, so I'm like,
I get it.
So, but you can see right here how the excess cable is it just hides up in there. So this is just another way for you to maintain that. And then you can see on here, we've had this really clean stipple texture, whatever, there on the finger pads and on the back strap. And then you come on up here on the urethane booty, we got the Ryker logo, and it just gives you that nice little tactile position to put your thumb down there to activate your device. Now, we can do the Ryker Control comes in a plug this one. Oh, that's it.
Does it come with like a Surefire mount, or
right? So it comes. Let me unplug this one. So it comes with your crane type L3 connector, and it comes with their Surefire tail cap. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Now, pretty interesting things that we found. So that Surefire tail cap is, why do we go with this and not other lights? We got to go off of what DOD's using. DOD is still running Surefire, and the lasers that they primarily use run the L3 crane type connector.
100%.
The NGAL has its own entity, and it was actually pretty interesting. What we learned about that is they're so specific about how that thing is built. The switch manufacturer has to send them the parts. L3 assembles it and then sends it back to the switch manufacturer. They don't even let it be outsourced. So yes, so that's pretty interesting there. So that's why that thing is like so expensive. But
hey Ron, can I do something like the White House and circle back to that DC mount real quick? Because I had a really
absolutely
question on that. So when you mount that up on there, does that mount specifically with the grip, or does that have its own mounting system so you could mount that separate on a
no, so this works with the Picatinny mount or the Picatinny mount or the M-Lock. It does it works with both. It comes with, so the grip comes with your standard with a center horizontal set screw.
Yep.
The DC mount comes with a one that's like 1/4 inch longer because it gives you a little bit more standoff on the side.
Okay.
So you need it to go through the grip, go through the DC mount, and then into the mounting bracket.
But you don't actually have to use the grip to use that mount.
You know, that's a good question. I think if you had a shorter screw, you could use the M-lock mount and this, and you'd have to use just a shorter screw just to put it into the center, and that would work also.
Well, I mean, I love the concept of that being on the grip for lights and stuff. I was just thinking more like for a red dot down the way, so I could, for 3 guns, so I could just twist and not have it right there, but actually just. I'm thinking out loud. I'm wrong-handed like you as well. So
yeah. So like on my other AR I threw my 45 degree up here in front of I'm sorry, on the other side. And I will tell you, man, just having it right there and just rocking it over and just letting it sit, the grip just sit in your hand, as I have found it to be very, very comfortable. Yeah, I mean, we could. Shoot, I kind of want to try that now. That's a good question.
It's just something that I thought about. But the other thing I really want to ask you, I mean, I get the whole idea for comfort with your grip. How is it for stability?
Man, well, so what we found, and this is when we brought in the team of doctors that we didn't even realize. So we actually have a doctor of biomechanics and ergonomics on our that helped us in the development process. This guy told us we were wasting our time in firearm space and that we should be in power tools. And he broke it down for us. And he was just like, basically why it feels more comfortable is broom handle, right? Broom handle, wedge, nub, right? Thumb over bore, all have one thing in common. You're still holding all that weight of the gun up, right?
Yep.
All that weight is isolated on that front delt right there, right? But look at my arm. I'm reaching across my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're shooting a pump or a semi-shotgun, you're shooting a shotgun like this, right? Then you're shooting your rifle like this, and then you're shooting your pistol like this. Mm-hmm. Now I'll shoot my pistol, rifle, shotgun, exactly the same. All platforms across the board, even on a saw. So if you carry your crew serve weapons, I got videos of our special operations guys shooting and moving with the saw. I got a video of a guy standing unsupported with an EOTech on his saw, 150 meters, ting, ting, turn the saw into a point weapon. Is amazing.
Yeah, that's something I can speak to that because I was literally teaching a unit about qualifying with the saw for the new Army qual. So we were working with that, and they have to do some standing shooting with it. And I was like, okay, well, when you come up, this is going to sound counterintuitive, but because I am a large human, it's easy for me. I reach out and grab a bipod leg and pull it up to get it off to the side.
Yeah.
And it's, like shooting 240s back in the day. That's how, I learned how to shoot them from the shoulder as well.
So we one of the things that we say is the heavier the gun, the higher the caliber, full auto or suppress, you recognize the benefit instantly. It changes the felt weight of the gun because I'm no longer holding it up. I'm pulling back. Because I'm pulling back, I 100% take all of that off my shoulder. Now I'm using my shoulders and my back. That's what eliminates the fatigue, right? And that's what eliminates the recoil. So the simple fact that I have less muscular tension going on, right? And I'm using more of my body, that in itself is giving you that amazing stability that you can't replicate with anything else that's on the market.
So I see that Jacob here from the comments watching live says he has one and he can say it does help preserve pinching nerves in his shoulder. So
it does. And I will tell you, man, it's my neck and my shoulders and all this. And again, I made it to be pain-free, and we fell on things on accident. Like we were just a whole bunch of us just when we had our prototypes, our 3D printed prototypes, and we're out there and we're shooting. And I can't say certain things. And I'm bringing a bunch of guys out there and we're shooting. And dudes are like, man, they're like, this is going to sound weird. I'm like, what? And they're like, I feel faster. And then someone else is like, I feel faster. And then I was just like, I know because I feel faster. But I can't say it. I have to let you see it. Yep. Kind of like what's going on with our politics right now. We have to be these things have to be exposed, right? So that's when we got the idea to bring the team of statisticians in, and we created a 96-round course of fire that measures speed and accuracy. And I would tell you, it is a grueling day when we do these, right? Because it's like, and we have to do a randomization. So we have 2 identical rifles, right? Same break, same handguard, same buttstock, same trigger, same optic, everything. Only difference is one has a grip, one does not. Flip a coin. Heads is with grip, tails is without grip. Cool. You come on up. It's from the 10-yard line, 3 targets, 21 feet apart. We did an 8x11 box on the targets. And we come on up, and your first time it's 2 center, 2 left, 2 right, 2 center, 2 right, 2 left. Record that. Okay, come back. Yep. Change out guns, same thing, right? And what we found is you inherently got faster without the grip, but you also got faster with the grip. But all the misses came in the second and third relay. So we did this 4 times. The first one was your warm up to get it down, and then we recorded the next 3 times. And all the misses were overshooting. They were over penetrating because the guys were trying to replicate the drive stop that you get with the grip. So we went out there one day. I had a Green Beret. I had a Marine sniper. I had 2 Marine Raiders and a Force Recon Marine, right? Took these guys out there, ran them. They were awesome. They helped us with this everything. They had 11 misses. All the misses were without the grip, right? Now, the speed increase. They had a 5% speed increase with the grip over without the grip. That's insane.
That is not insignificant.
Right.
I mean, people might look at that and think, oh, 5% isn't that much. But when you start looking at that, and especially at that level,
look at the caliber of people that were doing it.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Is it's when you're looking at that level and that level of shooter and that caliber, a 5% increase is astounding.
Yeah. So then we looked at the shot groups, right? So we're coloring, like without grip was like red, red marking. With grip was like, blue markings, right? The distance between the first and second shots were closer with the grip. So that, and it's that drive, stop, and everything, that accuracy right there. So we found that by accident. So then, so there's things that you don't write into a business plan, right? Again, I'm an inventor. I have a patent. It's awesome, right? It's really cool. And I'm fortunate. Both my partners, they're veterans, they're Navy dudes, but they're both MBA guys. They're like big brains. I am not the business guy. I'm just the referential authority. I can teach you how to use guns. And I'm not the gun guy. Like, you'll be like, oh, what's this, that? I was like, I don't know. But you want to know how to shoot it really well? That's the type of gun guy I am. Like, I'm not getting wrapped around the axle like, oh, this metal was made on a Tuesday and it was like really good and it was raining outside, so the barrel's hard. No, I don't care about any of that stuff, man. I don't have time for that, right? Just through our whole team and everything in our process, it's just like you try to think of everything. And I've said this many times in my Marine Corps career and in life, man, you don't know what you don't know. And
100%.
When you learn it, and also is, all plans should be written in pencil. Make a plan. When that plan fails, because it will, make a new one and continue to move forward, right? So this is kind of like all the learned things that we learned. Now, I will tell you is we were started getting letters from people. And we had this guy reach out to us who's a retired law enforcement officer who's had a lung transplant. And he could not shoot. He could not shoulder or holster anymore. He was never strong enough. He said our grip gave him back the ability to shoot again.
That's awesome.
I took Kyle Carpenter to the range. We went out to the Paneo Range in South Carolina, and we're shooting. And he's now left-handed. His right hand, he can't move his wrist. He can't bend his wrist. He can't hold up the weight. He shot the grip. He turned around. He's like, fellas, he shot a mag and he goes, can I keep shooting? I was like, man, you shoot all day, bro. I'll load mags for you forever. Let's go. And he went out there, he was shooting and he was just like, fellas, I'll tell you right now. He's like, suit me up. He goes, with this grip, I can go back. He goes, I cannot believe how well I'm shooting. Right. Then we had one of the best letters I remember we got. We got this guy, and he's just like, hey, man, I do a lot of hog hunting from a helicopter. He goes, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite things to do. And he goes, we're out there the other day, and he goes, I crushed 6 hogs in a row. It was just like, he's just like, pop, 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 pop. And everybody's like, holy crap, how'd you do that? And he goes, it was the grip. And he's just like, it just allowed me just to transition and just lead them and just drop the hogs like perfectly. And he's going on about it. And he goes, this is also a good time to tell you that I don't have any legs. And we're like, oh, damn. You know, and he's just like, he goes, I lost him in a blast. He goes, I'm like mid-thigh. And he's just like, so it's very hard for me to get my balance. And he goes, your grip makes me a tripod. And I'm like, holy crap. You know, so you can't.
Awesome, man.
You can't write that shit into a business plan, right? And, you know, our one of our silent partners up in Alaska, he said it best, you know, after, you know, we share all this information, we're talking, and he goes, fellas, he goes, if we go out of business today and we don't sell another product, he goes, we're a successful company. He goes, we've added value to someone's life. We've given them something back that they lost. And that's the thing that like, man, what a gift, you know, like, and just like, I tell you the thing too, is like going forward, it's helping me think differently about implementing and creating and everything, even with like my summer camp. It's just like, I'm taking all these lessons learned, like, and thinking, not thinking one dimensional, trying to think like 3 and 4, like, you know, dimensions, like, well, how, you know, where does this translate? How can I bring this to another arena?
Yep.
And then I'll tell you the thing with it. So you want to talk about stability, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Our first sponsored shooter was a 10-year-old girl in San Antonio, Texas, Alpha Addie. So
that's awesome.
She was shooting, and everybody's like, oh, you're cute, you're cute. They reached out to us. We got her a grip. She was dry fire practicing, boom, 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 going through her movements. She went out the next week. Then she didn't finish in the end of the pack anymore. She was like in the top 10, you know, within a week. And then went on. She's now, I think she's like 16, paid to shoot. Our second sponsor shooter, Pineapple Shooter, Reagan in Florida, same thing, right? Boom. Now she's like, that chick's a force to be reckoned with. She is pistol rifle sponsored. She's an archer. She's a competitive archer. Like, she's amazing. But again, the grip got her off the ground. So that's really cool. We got a bunch of dudes that run slings and the grip in the tactical games. They love our sling because of the retention system. So it's just, the stability thing brings it like this. And again, we fell on some of these things on accident. So our first sling was paracord wrap with 3 1-inch strands of marina grade bungee in it. We phased it out. We gave it to some of the tier 1 guys down the road, and they love the retention. They're like, you got it. But the problem is the sling is too heavy, it's too bulky, and there's too much polymer on it. They're not allowed to have anything touch life-saving equipment that isn't American steel. So they were like, all right, cool. So we redesigned it based off of that feedback and got them a prototype. They're like, this is it. Maybe do this, tweaked it. Now these guys run our sling. And they helped us like take our other sling and make it. So we've now made our sling lighter, thinner, removed all the polymer, and it's amazing. One of the things I've always said is like, I will go to my grave not having found the perfect carry holster, the perfect backpack, or the perfect sling. Now it's just carry holster and backpack because we have the perfect sling.
Well, I'm gonna have to pick one of those up and try it then, because I know that I definitely haven't found the perfect backpack, and I keep trying.
Oh my gosh, dude, I drive my wife nuts, man. I'm constantly like ordering new bags.
Hey, and that is the Evolver stock as well.
Those are my boys.
I love mine. I've got mine on my PCC right now. I run it at competition, and everyone looks at me like I'm crazy. The only thing that rifle is missing that you have right there is a VZ grip. The unique features of VZ grips that are machined from a solid block of G10, and G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options and shorty versions available. 1911 grips for those of us who grew up on those, or my beloved Berettas. With extreme customizability, standard slim palm swells, slub notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. This coupon code is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips, and that code is AR-15 podcast.
Nice. I gotta look into those.
Oh, they're fantastic.
It's I saw, dude. So I'm a fan of innovation, and I'm a fan of people thinking differently. And this popped up in my feed, and I saw it, and I'm like, I went right to the website and ordered one. Got it. When this thing came, I was so excited. I was going through my motions, at the house, and I'm like, I'm going to the range. I went out to the range. I spent 2 hours out there, put it on a couple different rifles, and didn't even leave the range. I'm sitting in my truck, and I'm like emailing them. The dude hits me back before I had a 40-minute drive to my house from my range. Hits me back, and we're chatting. And I'm like, dude, this thing's incredible. I love this. I love the innovation. And we start chatting, everything like this. They carry our product. We carry their product now. And again, it's a veteran owned. It's three veterans up in Michigan. And Todd is awesome.
We had them on the show right after they launched. It was the same thing. They popped up in my feed.
Yep.
I happened to be, I think at that point I was deployed down there. It was when I was attached to Border Patrol. And so I didn't have, I couldn't be modding a lot of stuff, but I'd seen it come up and I was like, hey guys, we got to talk to these. And
it's a cool product, man. Don't get me wrong. For you guys, it makes a lot more sense. For me on the civilian side, I got the concept of it. It just didn't fit my needs. But it's a super cool product.
I like it, man, because what I have found too is just the way we run our sling. I'm not fiddling. It doesn't matter. Anytime I come up, I've got that good, nice purchase right there. I can even come more to the center of my chest. I really like it. But so this is you guys know this is the Rat Dog.
Yep.
So go back to one of the other things that we came up with too. We came up with a cable management system. So this is the cable clip. You can see the Ryker logo on there. But what this is these come in a 3-pack, or comes with the Ryker control. And you can see the grooves on the back.
Yep.
They're channels. So what it does is it gives you the ability, again, to manage your equipment. Run your cables right up underneath there. So it removes the need for zip ties, tape, and rubber bands, which is a lot neater than...
It just cleans up a gun. It's fantastic.
And then if you want to take something off and change it or clean it, man, it just pops right off the Picatinny rail. I'm not going to do it because I got set up how I want it. But
I feel like I'd still want to keep a rubber band on there just because, for posterity.
Yeah. Now I know that we have some dudes that do that, and I know put that other tape, that camo, coach's tape on there, just to hold it down, but so they can have the aesthetic of the camo. But how we recommend the Ryker sling is we recommend we have a thumb loop right here, so you can adjust it and bring it down nice and tight. When you get your Ryker sling, it's going to take you probably 35-40 minutes to set it up. I would say run it hard for about 2 weeks, and then you probably make some final adjustments as the material kind of falls and settles into place. So we recommend behind the pistol grip and behind the Ryker grip. So I have this nice narrow, nice natural hang. So if you see my barrel, my gun's already slanted out to the side. So it doesn't matter which leg is forward. When I bend over to help somebody, arrest somebody, whatever your job is, or move something out of the way, my barrel's automatically going out to the side, not into the ground. Especially with the shorty, I run the buttstock all the way up. So if it was going down and hit the ground, it's going to come up, it's going to hit my face. So that's nice. Now with your traditional nylon sling, I'd have to reach up, release this tension, right? Come back up. And then if I want to transition, my rifle's going to be hanging down, right? Whatever, it's going to be in the way, or then I'm going to try to come back and tighten it up. With ours, not the case. You put this on, you set it, you forget it, because we have retention built in, right? So move my chair back here. So now what I can do, if I want to come on up, something happens, punch out, and I just let it sit right back into my shoulder. And what it does is you get this super unique push-pull from the sling, which allows the grip to push back into the meaty portion of your palm right here. And what I like about the Evolver was it really just pulls it nice in my shoulder.
Right into that pocket.
Right around there. So now if you took this away, right, keep that hand right there. Look at that. I'm in the same exact position as when I shoot pistol. So I now have commonality of movement. I'm doing one less thing, right? So now I come on up, punch out, and I let it sit back. Now you want to talk about really finding that stability at elevated heart rate, and it just pulls it right back in. And then I'm on a transition, right? Boom, 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 transition. And look where my rifle is, right where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and you don't have to fiddle with tightening or loosening or anything like that. It's all just right there, ready to go.
Yeah. So, like I said, I grew up on an MP5. So the MP5 was like that 2-3 point slider sling. And so I've always been a fan of behind the pistol grip. Never been a fan of back here. I just always found it like getting in the way, right? Especially when I was doing all of that, the EP stuff, for the government.
Yep.
We did a lot of, we were running shorties. We were doing a lot of single point, stuff at the time there. And I love.
I've always said, like you say, you love single point slings. Nope. I don't, because every time I had them, the only thing they were good at was hitting me in the dick.
Hit me in the nuts. Yeah. No, I love the single. I was getting to that. Like, I love single point for EP stuff, getting in and out of a vehicle. Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that we would do, we would wear it. We would weave it through. If we had a jacket on or something over that, we'd have it underneath our shirt, so we could just pull the shirt open and we could hook it up quick if we had to pull our yep. primary out of a bag. So that was a lot easier of a convenience factor on that side of things. But I cannot stand a single point. No, man, especially when you're running like a 14 or a 16 inch, like,
drops down just square in the balls.
Yeah.
Every time. Now, there is something to be said though about like running one the wrong way around, but when you're doing like the old Israeli sling weld for your stock, pushing out, running a PDW small, like the old K model.
You're talking about like a sling assist.
Yep.
Yeah, we used to on our MP5 quals, we would keep our buttstock collapsed and we would have to push out and
you get that weird sling weld or try to.
Yeah.
No, so that was the only time I've ever cared for a single point sling, was when I was doing that stuff. And like, yeah, I get it for like little things, but
yeah,
when you get into rifles, man, 2 points where it's at. That's
yes, yeah, I agree. But and again, think too, having that nice narrow base, and again, the sling comes with QD mounts, and and it's super light, super low profile, massively comfortable as well.
So that is awesome. I too have to go back and ask one question, just because I forgot to ask it earlier when you were talking about the control, because I looked at it and I saw the stuff and I went, oh, I'm assuming that button is just a momentary on. So
with the light, it is momentary on. All right. And I'm glad you asked that. So I took that one out and there we go. Push it all the way and that works, right? So on, off, right? Now,
with the laser, it'll do the tap on.
So with the L3 crane type connector, depends on the light. So this one is what we have found is there's this company, the Ariasca mounts. I don't know if you guys have seen those.
Arasaka.
Yep. That's it. Okay. So they have a bunch of different versions. So this one is a plug-in and a push button to activate, right? This is on a Scout. This is a Surefire Scout. So if you have a Streamlight, you can, because Streamlight is proprietary, you can get the Arasaka mounts and use our crane, our L3 crane type connector, Ryker control, and you can use your Streamlight and the Ryker control. So the other thing that we have found too is the Hollow Sun stuff is super versatile, and majority of it uses the L3 crane type connector. So they have that 3-in-1. They have that visible, the IR, and the white light. And so if you double tap on that, those will stay constant on. Awesome. We just did a project. We just did a big video project. I'm with Mirror Safety, the gas mask company.
Yep.
So they have their Mirror U series on YouTube, dropping. Hopefully, I think from right now, July. I think at the end of the month, we're dropping the intro for the Mirror U Tactical. So we just did in April. We did a whole week of shoot filming. So we did a day with our local law special ops, guys here, and we had B.E. Myers send us product, and we hooked the B.E. Myers up, and the double tap would just constantly keep that maul on. And dude, that thing is that is a really nice, like $5,000 laser. Aim Point came in strong with us on that one, and we had the weapons mounted light. So we had controls on all the stuff. We did civilian day. We did a day with the kids with the gas mask. So it wasn't all just about shooting stuff. We were doing preparedness and gear prep and all that kind of stuff too. So that was really cool on that. But we have found that the crane type connector is way more versatile than the Surefire one, especially when we found these other mounts that you can use. Now, when we were playing around, we had a dual lead that we were going to do. And the market for that is very, very, very niche, right? So like we talked to the guys on the dark side of government stuff. They don't run weapons mounted lights on rifles. I know the guys like down the road from where I'm at, if they have a weapons mounted light on the rifle, it is a physical push. Ever since that they have gone with that policy, they have done that and removed pressure pads and everything like this. They have eliminated the white light ND. Typically, the guys now, the higher echelon dudes, the only weapons mounted lights that they're running are on the pistol, right? So I like being civilian. I like a bright light. I think brighter light, more incapacitating. It buys you at second. It fucks everybody's night. Sorry guys, I don't know if I could drop that bomb.
Oh no, that's fine.
Okay. It screws everybody's night vision up, but in the capacity of a civilian, and I am fortunate I do live in a castle doctrine state, right? I have
100%.
I have to do everything I can to eliminate it because I also know what my court case is going to look like when I go. So I'm going to do everything. I'm probably going to smash someone's head in with a can of peas before I shoot them. And when they ask me why I did that, I'm going to say, I just want to see if you're going to ban cans of peas because, it's guns.
I get it. Like night vision's cool. I've got some, it's fun to run it. I like lasers and doing all that cool guy stuff at night. My home defense rifle has a super bright melt your face light.
Yeah.
Because one, I want positive target identification. Yeah. And like when we teach classes, I will say a lot of times people, questions I've been asked before is if you're in home defense, what's the best light for home defense? I say the one on the wall.
Yeah. The ceiling light.
hit the light switch because you're in your house.
Yeah. Just one of the things that we did in the Mirror You podcast, we were talking about home defense and they're like, what would you do if someone came to your house? I was like, I had hard point in my room.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
I'm like, I know my house better. Why am I I'm not going to rush to my death. I'm going to allow them to walk into theirs and that's it. Like, so I talk theory on that and how you could set up different points in different rooms but you again have a plan. Plan's going to change, and I have clients all the time and I'm sure you've heard this. Like, hey man, I use a shotgun for home defense. What do you think about that? And I'm like, I mean, it works. And I said, but let me guess. You follow the Dave Chappelle shotgun theory where it's because everybody speaks shotgun. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, one, why was your gun not loaded? Two, you just gave away your position. Three, you let them know you have a gun. It's a shotgun and you only probably have 5 to 6 rounds. So they're going to wait. They're going to antagonize you. They're going to make you shoot. You're going to shoot. They're going to know when you're empty. And then they're going to come in and they're going to bring full force of what they got. I was like, or you could just sit there and set the ambush. And people were like, oh, very interesting, right? Cool theory.
100%.
Yeah.
There are few things in the world that say fuck off better than a 12 gauge, but
yeah. Well, I know for a fact that if anyone ever broke into Nick's house, a red light would come on and then CCR Fortunate Son would start playing. So
they'd be way more concerned about the naked man with the tomahawk.
in my house, yeah, it's Tupac and Hail Mary.
See, at least I upgraded from bodies.
Yeah. But so the control was our ultimate goal. One of the other things too, we have a project we're working on with the Army Research Laboratory is to put the controls for the e-collar for the K9s in here. So the K9 officers don't have to come off target, pull the control out, put it back and it come up on target. Now they'll be able to do, you know, audible, shock, and vibrate, you know, all right up here while staying on target and staying
awesome.
engaged. So that's
That
one of the
is
things
amazing.
Yeah. So the concept with the Ryker control is, and the benefit we have with the manufacturing process of it now is I can literally tweak this and change this to fit anything. We could fit this. We could get a small mounted camera. We could wire this and build it up so we could just mount a camera in here and put a USB-C charger onto the side. I mean, we can do anything. We could add Bluetooth, a PTT Bluetooth in here, which is one of the things that we're starting negotiate. Well, not negotiating. We're starting talking with a communications company about that. So it's just you know, honestly, it's just really, it just comes down to time and resources, and who needs what. You know, we still are relatively, you know, new on the market, you know, in comparison to other things and that are out there. And, you know, we are the only one in the space. Our patent owns the side of the rifle for purposes of hand placement. And, you know, and we're just going to keep chipping away. And, you know, we're fortunate that we partnered with Nathan and Mitchell Defense. And, you know, not just because not just because he and I are from the same community, but being from the same community and seeing how, like, and you know, I'm a little like old school and he's a little new school, and just coming together, and he and I just like hit it off. We work good, but what he does and how his process of creating his guns, I'm like, I freaking love him. Like to me, there's really nothing finer than a 416 and the Mitchell Defense rifles. Like that's kind of where I'm at. So,
well, I mean, it's pretty neat, honestly, if you think about your whole story that you've shared with us over the last hour. You started this whole thing just for comfort, and now with all the modularity you have and all the heights you can travel to, it's a pretty awesome story.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yep. And I was going to go in and talk one thing before we start closing anything out tonight was, I know that probably the number one thing that people look at is they look at, like, specifically with the control, and they go, well, you know, they're sure proud of that, you know, because you look at it and it's a grip, and they go, well, it's because, you know, on the website it's listed for $295.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so I'm going to break that down a little bit. You know, remember, you're talking about, you know, a Surefire or an L3 crane switch. So you're at $90 for just the switch before you add in a mount. So you're already over $100,
Mm-hmm.
you know, looking at just that stuff, and then add in the grip, you know, as well, along with all the R&D and getting better ergonomics and being faster.
Yeah.
Like, this is you're going to spend the same amount of money trying to outfit a kit to be less comfortable, or trying to customize, you know, whatever it is to be something similar to this.
Yeah.
So this is still value for the money.
Yeah. You know, one of the things too is people like, we've heard in the past, on both sides. Like, I've had people like, dude, that's only $300. I'm like, yeah, you know, how many do you want? Like, you know, and then we have people like $300, and you know, but the thing is, it's just like, and even in the beginning, like we were talking, you know, before the show started, right?
Yep.
Like, all of the experts, you know, in the beginning, these are people who have never had something here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's here.
Yep.
Right. They don't understand the process and what goes into it, and the creation and manufacturing, and, you know, and all these things. And and this is like, for me, you know, I've learned so much on this journey and it's helped me on so many things, but it's there's so much that goes into it. Right. So our goal was always, we wanted to sell products that, like, that E3 could go to the exchange and buy on payday. But there's certain things that you can do, and there's certain things that you can't do, and you can't give your stuff away for free if you want to stay in business, right?
100%.
We're also not getting it made in China. Now, I guess that we've kind of made it because we got Alibaba knocked us off. So, I mean, so I guess that's good, right? But
yeah, hey,
don't go to Alibaba because it's made with thin plastic and it will break on you. But yeah, man, it's just it's been really cool. It's been really fun and educational across the board on that. But I appreciate you breaking down the cost, and you're pretty much like, you know, it's there now. Yeah, you have, and again, thing too is everything is scalable, right?
Yeah.
So like if you want to
100%.
be a dealer and you buy 12 grips, well, here's the dealer packaging. If you come back and you're like, I want to buy 100 grips, okay, well, cool. Well, now you get another price break. If you come back and you buy 1,000 grips, okay, well, now now the price comes down. And that's the same for us when we're purchasing. So we outsource our switch. We feel that we made an intelligent decision, not trying to R&D and reinvent the wheel when there's a company out there that is really awesome to work with that's already created a mil spec switch. We don't have to do that testing. We don't have to put that.
That just makes sense.
Yeah. So, but for us to get margins that work, we have to, we got to
charge for it.
We got to drop 20 grand.
Yeah.
And that's 20 grand that we're spending. So this is where the business side comes in, right? So that's 20 grand. Well, that 20 grand is going to take us, 6 months, 18 months to recoup, right? So it's people, the experts don't, they can't see the forest through the trees. Yes. So, but for me, it's just like, hey man, you like it, you don't. All we got to say is all you have to do is try it. All you got to do is try it. Does it look funny? Yeah. If it makes you better at what you do, does it really matter what it looks like? Right?
No.
I mean,
what's that old maxim? If it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid.
There you go. I mean, boom. Let's go. Yes.
That's what I was kind of brought up on is, man, that's really dumb. It works. Well, then it's not dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just how I look at it. But I was more saying that as I inevitably know people come in and look at this stuff, and anytime you create stuff, you have to pay more for it. And the fact that this is Berry compliant and, DOD and all that. So this is 100% US made.
All across the board, manufactured, everything from our packaging, from like our decals, like, everything is. We actually had a problem with our first sling manufacturer, which was one of the reasons that we were starting to look elsewhere. They were giving us, it's why on our first sling, we stopped carrying the QD mounts because I broke 2 in one day. And I had sent some slings down range to the guys, and they were like, bro, these QD mounts suck. We broke them, all of them. So I hit these guys up, and they're like, well, the package said made in the US. I'm like, where did you get them from? They're like, Amazon. And I'm like, oh, man. So that's out of here. Like we stopped carrying it. We used the HK clips, and the HK clips had the same problem. They were stretching. The hook was stretching. So we've moved on. So you have, again, like sometimes some things you have to learn the hard way. But yeah, right now everything else is 100% American made. So
yep. Well, that is awesome, and that's something guys should be willing to pay a little bit more for as well, especially, the ones who are like, oh, they need to make it in America. Well, they did. Yeah. And then when they go, but they should, well, you're not going to get Chinese prices out of American quality.
No. And here's the other thing too, is 2 of our 3 manufacturers are veteran owned, right? So Nico Labs down in College Station, Texas is veteran owned, right? Roberts is a Ranger bat dude. Blackwater dude, and now has a massive, oh my god, I think his facility is like 150,000 square feet. It's insane what they do down there. And then Wilder Tactical, if you guys aren't familiar with them, the best pistol belt. There's no better pistol belt on the market, and it's not even worth fighting you because that's the facts. And they just released their Hitman gear, their chest rigs, and everything. This stuff's amazing. But I've been with Josh for 16 years when he was making like bootleg holsters out of his trunk, right? And now where he's at, but they make our sling, and the modularity that we have with them and how they can change the patterns, and we can make simple modifications with those 2 companies is phenomenal. And for us, not only just being, again, like you said, we take pride, everything we want it to be American made, and we want to support as many veteran owned brothers as we can in that process. So
yeah, that is awesome, and I love to hear that. So for anybody who wants to find out more about Ryker, other than obviously the website Ryker USA, where can they find all your stuff? What are your socials? What are you guys doing? Where are you putting stuff out at? Where can they find, more about you if they just want to listen to you talk more?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've done a bunch of podcasts, but RykerUSA.com, at RykerUSA on Instagram and YouTube. We got a bunch of videos on there. So yeah, so go watch those. If you guys want to see videos or see us putting it on a different type of gun, or you have questions, DM me, is really the best way, or ron.holmes, HOLMES at RykerUSA. Go ahead and hit me up there, but DM me on Instagram. I'm also Instructor One, ONE, Instructor One, on Instagram. I'm a little bit more free with the stuff I post on that one. I'm kind of like wave tops on Instagram. I just am like so over the difficulties and just the crap and all that, but we post and we share posts and stuff, but we do a lot of collaboration pieces too. The stuff we do, the project we just did with Mirror is going to be great because we're going to have collaborative videos with Unit Solutions, with Aimpoint, with B.E. Myers, with Valiant, with Mitchell, and all that. So, yeah. And then, if anybody's interested in my summer camp, it's Life Skills, SKILZ USA.com, and at Life Skills USA on the socials as well. But, I mean, yeah, that's that, man.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Ron. Hang out a little bit. We'll just close everything out. Garth, you got anything you want to add tonight?
Yeah, man. So Nick told me you guys were coming on a couple weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, cool. Sounds good, man. Another guest. I like guests. And he's like, have you seen their product yet? I'm like, no, I haven't. Until he sent me the website. I checked it out. I was like, oh, neat. Hearing you talk tonight, Ron, and it sold me on your product just for this one simple fact. You said when you're stretched out holding your firearm, and then you drop your AR and you go to your pistol position. Same movement, same form. As a competition shooter, I think that's fantastic, and that's why I want to put them on my guns, because to eliminate one less function and have that same stability and form, I think is brilliant. And if competition shooters aren't using your product, I'm going to change their mind because it's going to be on my stuff.
Thank you. I would tell you this for everybody that's listening. We run sales like all the time. We also do the Ryker Ready series. So sign up on our emails. We're putting putting articles out on all kinds of stuff. Our email marketing guy threw an article. Actually, it was my movie review from Civil War. He was in a hurry. He threw it through ChatGPT and then put it up. And I read it when it came out, and I was like, and I called him, I'm like, what did you do? And I was like, dude, take it down. And he goes, I'll resend it. And I was just like, so the next article came out, I was like, AI is not your friend. And then it inspired me to sit down with my son and watch Terminator Salvation. And, so yeah, my little 7-year-old is like, it was a year ago. He wakes up one day and he goes, Dad, he says, I think I'm ready to watch that Red Dawn movie. And I'm like, yes, homeschooling today. Yeah. So we watched The Pacific. We're in the middle of the Band of Brothers. So it's just like, we were just in Ireland. This is funny. We were just in Ireland and Belfast for a friend's wedding. And that's where the Titanic was built and launched from and everything. And, the conspiracy and history around the Titanic. Mm-hmm. And we're walking into the Titanic Museum, and he looks at my wife and I, and he goes, do you think they're really going to tell us what happened?
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yes. My daughter and I are currently working our way through. We started at the oldest, original Dr. No James Bond. And,
we're getting there. We just did that. He's hooked on the Kingsman.
Nice.
Yep. We're heavy into Bond right now. So we watch about one Bond movie a week. And
yes. Oh yeah.
So no, that is great. Well, Garth, is there anyone else they need to look up tonight?
They do. They need to check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co, guys. Go check out Jake and all the guys over there. They have the Patch of the Month Club. They just had their July exclusive, which treason is the reason for the season. It's got a 80s air guitar with the snake wrapped around it with some guns going each way. That's actually on my Yeti cup upstairs right now. Yeah, I'm one of those sellouts that have a Yeti cup. So they have tin signs. They have stickers. I believe they do. I think they do T-shirts. I haven't looked at the website in a while because Jake's been cool enough to send me a patch of the month, and I'm not even, kind of in that thing. So anyway, go check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co, and support a local South Dakota business. Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Yep. And with that, guys, I think we're going to call it for the night. Ron, you got anything else to add here before we sign off?
Yeah, to everybody, other than when we run 25% off sales, Ryker 20 is a standard discount code that we give out on podcasts. So Ryker 20 at checkout saves you a few dollars more off the final price.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And with that, guys, again, we're going to get signed off for the night. Remember, you are your own first responder. Go out, get training, and stay safe and stay armed. Support the people who support the show. Primary Arms, VZ Grips, 4Patriots.com. and Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to check us out on social media. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 on Instagram. AR-15 Podcast 2.0 on YouTube. AR-15 Podcast 2 on Twitter. AR-15 Podcast on Facebook and wherever podcasts are found. If you just want to drop us a line, let us know how we're doing, or give us a show idea. Make sure to send that email to AR-15podcast 2.0 at gmail.com.